Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm here to give you guys a philosophy how to expand a bit upon creativity, imagination, and innovation. Everything is created twice, first in the mind, then it becomes reality. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe can achieve. So you go out there day after day, do the work. Confidence is put yourself out there boldly, authentically, even though the success, the creation has not arrived, have not manifested just yet. But you know that the richest place on earth, the richest real estate on earth is the graveyard, dreams and goals and everything like that. Die along with you because you have the courage, the philosophy, the frameworks. You're all going to have that. It's going to change because you're going to have this go-getter energy as well to go out there and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. This is the method, the philosophy known as create like a God. This your man's Jaron Mitchell, aka Jaron Winning Mitchell. Today's topic we're going to be talking about today is observing. How to observation builds creativity and imagination. Okay, so this is more of this topic because you ever done like life drawing, right? I'm in animation, everything, right? You ever done life drawing and you're doing there and you observing, you have to draw and you're drawing from life, you're using stuff like that from references, right? It's the same thing. You actually observing, you're looking at patterns, you're seeing, and it can actually help you like with your creativity and imagination. It not have to just build with drawing and stuff like that, or you doing animations for like 3D and stuff, but you can observe just pretty much not just for that, but also for other things as well. So creativity doesn't come from imagination alone. It comes from what you notice. Okay, what you notice as well, like observate. Was it the pattern recognition? Things that comes in pattern. Most people look but don't observe. The artists, builders, and thinkers study reality. You know, think about the law of gravity. Isaac Newton got the law of gravity, right? Came up and have observing nature's laws. Now, actually, too, another thing with before I know we're going to talk about, is subscribing on YouTube channel. We'll get to that in a second, a little bit. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now, but imagination is fed by attention, and if you want to fail to observe, you cannot create from. Okay, so this is basically reference and stuff like that, depending on what you're applying, how to use and apply that knowledge. So again, this title actually today, which is we on episode 43, we in 2026. I'm so behind on my recordings. I'm supposed to start at the beginning of the year, or yeah, it didn't work out. We work out even with September, and I keep pushing it back. But now we're officially going to be here live. So we already got some stuff on the pod. So you guys are going to be seeing here 43 observation. So the titles may change. You may not actually see it. Maybe a different title on YouTube and stuff like that. Because I'm putting this on YouTube. We're going to have, I'm using some stuff to help me on YouTube with titles and stuff like that. So this is what we're going to do, okay? Things may change. Titles may change depending on what it is. Even with to have some good thumbnails too, So that's what we got going on, you guys. It's pretty cool. We in the month of April. This is probably going to be the 6th. Yeah, this is 6. Yeah, this is 6 episodes because I had the other first 5 recorded. It's supposed to be in the beginning of the year. Things didn't work out, but it's okay. Things are going a little bit. There's a lot of delays. Things are going a little bit smoothly and we're going to be growing the YouTube channel, the podcasting, and much more. We're going to be growing. Okay, so Create Like God podcast is going to be on the Jaron Mitchell on my personal personal YouTube channel. And I do have the pod. I'm not going to upload it there. I'm debating on thinking about uploading, maybe do it separately or from now on move it over to there. I'm not too sure yet, but we will see. Okay, so observation. I came with this episode again because when you observe something, you observing something like drawing, like with drawing from life, getting reference from life. You're observing something what people do, their reactions, their facial features and stuff like that. You can help you build something that's kind of realistic and use your imagination and creativity actually create something new. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot, if you guys understand what I'm saying about that, but there's a lot of things you can do by observing. You can just sit back, observe, notice, look, and just notice what people are doing. And you can actually build your creativity and your imagination depending on what you're going to use it for. If you need to do it for entertainment, for like entertainment or tell a story, you can do that. If you need to do it for possibly solving a problem, maybe you can do that. There's a lot of things that have been solved. Think about Isaac Newton. Thinking about I think like some of the animals, like the animals that we have today. Like scientists start observing, or people, famous people start observing, and they're starting to see like I think I don't remember what it was, but I remember with the porcupine or something like that, right? I think it was the porcupine. When you pull it out, it's hard to get off. So they made like somebody, I forgot the name. I don't remember the name, but I remember seeing a video on this and where he designed this thing where it helps with, I think it helps with like stitches or some type of medical in the medical fields. Okay, so that's how you be able to get something, is how you're able to observe, be able to invent something or create something new. I want to say, well, not really new, but create something that can help mankind and it could possibly destroy mankind too, depending on what you create. You're either creating or destroying. And you create chaos or you not create chaos. Creating to build, to move mankind forward, or you're creating the chaos and bring mankind backwards. So we're going to be talking about actually a lot about today. I mean, not today, but later on in other episodes, possibly. So that's what I wanted to talk about you guys with that with today. It's been a cool little minute, you know. So once we get back on in April, you're probably going to see me as well as stream. Hopefully we get all episodes. Again, I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm gonna record probably a couple more. It's freaking late at night, so I'm probably gonna be super tired because I have to be up early in the morning for work for my job. But other than that, you guys, so let's go ahead and get to these points that we're gonna be talking about today, which is observing. Point number one, okay, observing how observation builds creativity and imagination. Point number one, okay, observation shows you how the real world works. We already talked about this, right? We already talked about this. I gave you examples. I gave you perfect examples. You know, Isaac Newton, right? Isaac Newton came up with the law of gravity. And also in the book, How Winning the Devil by Napoleon Hill, if Isaac Newton would have actually kept going further through the law, he would have came up with the law of hypnotic rhythm. Okay, so ground creativity. Creativity is reality. Reality is raw material, movement, behavior, patterns, and system. Human nature, environment, causes, effects. Okay, you could do it. I'm saying, like, there's been a lot of examples, perfect examples. Let me see. I can't think of really something in my story. I need to learn how to start telling you guys some stories, you know, so you guys can remember. But the key insight right here I'm going to give you is the most believable imagination is built on real world truths. Okay, building on the real world, observing the real world, observing how nature works. You know, that's basically how nature works, how animals walk around and how you be able can come up with something, design something, in other observation of human beings, their habits, their fears, and you know, you can actually create something, create a niche, and just noticing something because you observing, you getting data, you could probably collect data, you collect data too, because when you collect data, you're able to measure and get better results, and you're able to do a pivot of like why doesn't it work, what happened, and be able to make a pivot. The same thing with observation using scientific method. Okay, observations teach us how people react, how system functions, and how consequences form. So, and along with that, it shows you how the real world works. Okay, observation, or you can go through. I think. Let me see. Let me give you. Can't think of a story right now about observation with this point of how basically observation show you how the real world works. I can give you. You know, I gave you Isaac Newton. I gave you story about the porcupine. I think the porcupine one. Did I say pineapple earlier? I don't know if I said pineapple. What else? What else is there? I'm trying to think of this because it could be a perfect example. I can't think of anything right now. It's gonna come after me right after this episode. But let's go ahead and get to episode point number 2. Today's topic we're gonna be talking about today is how observation. Okay, hold on. How observation. Oh, shoot. Oops, that's why. Oop, okay. How observation. What is going, man? Or whatever. Hold on. I'm sorry. Just trying to do something. Observing how observation builds creativity and imagination. Point number 2, observation is studying. That's what it is. Okay, you're studying, you're getting data, you're getting feedback and everything, right? So you get feedback. Oh, I deleted it off from there. That's why. I get feedback. You get feedback. You're able to get the feedback. You're observing. You're studying. You're able to understand. You know, you get the correct misunderstandings. You get the correct watch what people do, the environment. I talked about like, the environment, what people do, their interactions and patterns, and their body languages. Right? You can get people body languages. Think about it also too with the FBI. Right? They're observing somebody's body language. It's not actually proven to be evidence because I watched a lot of freaking interviews of criminals trying to get away from police officers or trying to get investigations, trying to fool investigators. And it come to me to realize, right? I'm gonna tell you, actually, I'll give you a perfect example. Actually, in a little bit right here. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example right now. Okay, so me watching a lot of true crime stuff, seeing what people, other human beings do to other human beings, them creating crime, they're doing unaliving people and doing crazy stuff and doing stuff, planning something, doing some crazy things, right? And this is my thought on this, right? You know how people be like, "Oh man, why you snitching? You snitching, and we don't like no snitches," or that's kind of like the street code. I'm not a street guy. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a street guy. Okay, I'm not. I know I'm not. My dad, some of my family probably was, but I'm not a street guy. I wasn't born like in the streets and doing all that other game. I don't do that. I don't do that stuff. But I hear a lot of it on that. Snitches get stitches, all these little sayings right here, right? So I'm sitting here thinking to myself when I'm watching all these guys that's like supposedly big and bad and don't snitch, don't talk to FBI and all this other stuff, right? I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, bro, every single one of them, me observing and watching these interviews, they all snitch on themselves, bro. And this is, remember when I was my dad used to teach me. He used to teach me all this stuff, teach me how the streets works and all this stuff, how they work and everything, right? And he said, once you get into something and they do, they're guilty by association. You're guilty, right? They do something you didn't mean to go out there. Say you go out there and you get to go, you trying to get something back, whatever, and about to fight somebody, and somehow somebody, pull up a little bloopy, and they start blasting out, right? And even though you was there and you was not your intentions, you are guilty by association by law. Okay, guilty by association. So look, anybody that gets involved or start snitching or telling each other, they start turning on each other. Okay, same thing with girlfriend, couples commit crimes and all this stuff. They turn on each other. It always happens. They turn on each other. And I sit here think to myself, like, bro, like, being a criminal ain't freaking worth it, especially like, I won't say especially today, because now you have all this technology. They can track you and DNA, DNA test. It's like, bro, like, once you get caught, you're gonna get caught sooner or later. It may not be now, it may be sooner or later. It may be probably even after your life too. But guess what? That's another topic. But they're gonna figure out and close the case. But here's the thing, man. They all gonna turn on each other. They all gonna snitch. So when I seen, was it 6ix9ine? When I heard about them, I think he talked about this, right? When I guess one of them, they got with his baby mama and all that, right? And they came in and he ended up telling on them, but they supposedly they beat them up. I don't know the whole story because I don't keep up with most of the artists and rap nowadays. But I remember watching a video on this. He was talking about it. And people got mad at him snitching. The hip hop gang, rap gang, all the guys snitching. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, bro, like, they beat on this man. They basically, betrayed him. What do you think he was gonna do? Yeah, he was gonna say something. They betrayed him. They wasn't his friends. And it's like, there's no honor among thieves, right? There's no honor among thieves. So look, no matter if you gonna get caught, y'all gonna get caught doing something. Anybody gonna get caught? Just observe how somebody do. They always gonna turn on each other. They always, when somebody get caught, they going to turn on each other each time, and that's called snitching, because they thinking about themselves first. And that's when I think, like, you're the big bad, talking about all this other stuff, being big and bad, but once you get caught, you're basically a bitch. Just basically you are. You gonna be crying and all that other stuff. Hey, everybody, because they don't want to get locked up. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want it to have they don't want it. They want their freedom. But hey, you should have thought about that. Thought about your actions when you did that actions for your freedom. It's the same thing with the Wolf of Wall Street. I recently watched the Wolf of Wall Street, right? I didn't think this movie was gonna be crazy. Wolf of Wall Street, great movie, by the way. I'm Jordan Buffett and all that, great movie. But hey, he ratted on his people. He straight up ratted on his people for more time, for less time. I'm just saying. I mean, I watched the movie. Maybe I gotta look at the cases and stuff like that on this stuff and how that stuff worked. But hey, I'm just saying, okay. So that's what I observed and studied from it. That's great something I'm telling you guys on that, because no matter what happened, when you get caught, FBI doing crime, the person is going to snitch. Okay. So observation, research is research without basic research without permission. You don't have to get permission. You can research, you do some stuff, observe. People look at people body language, observe from life, observe from pattern recognition, what people do, and you're observing. And that's what just giving you guys that story I was just telling you about with the snitching whole thing. People say snitches get stitches and all this other stuff. People that says that, they going to snitch. Okay. So artists, for the artist standpoint, artists, storytellers, and inventors study postures, study silence, time, study timing, study contrast. They study all this stuff. It's all studying from life, looking for lighting, shading and lighting. Look what's going in this room, looking at painting it, they're observing it, looking at real life. And you can, not just for artists as well, you can actually observe what people do, their actions, what they do, what they're saying, and their body language. And that could actually come up with some stuff, or you can get a sense of, what way that, okay, that's how this person reacting, and just, or how they are, and getting like, something ain't right, because you probably been through it multiple times, and then it wasn't your first rodeo. Okay, let's go ahead and get to point number 3. Today's topic I'm gonna be talking about today is observation. Observing. Observation builds creativity and imagination. Point number 3, everything is reference. Okay, everything is reference. This is creativity creative unlock, basically, right? Creativity. Nothing creates in a vacuum. References sharpen imagination. References doesn't limit originality, it strengthens it. And here's the key thing right here. I'm going to give you guys a key line. Okay. Reference is not copying. References is understanding. So you as an artist that's going to use that reference, because I hear a lot of people, don't use the artist, don't get the reference, or you copying from the reference. Okay, using references, using this stuff, are you copying? Copying is more, we talked about the copy, transform, and combine, right? How to be original. When you copying something, you're trying to understand, you're trying to study, you're trying to observe and trying to figure out where the original person came up with this and how they did it. Okay, you're observing what's you basically studying and you learning. Okay, that's basically what you doing when you drawing and stuff like that. Okay, so again, improving is using references, improve accuracy. Okay, some people can line it up and say, oh, you copied over it. I mean, they probably got the proportions, everything right. Never know. But improving accuracy deepens believability and expands creative range. Okay, so it brings your creativity, you understand, you learning, you're doing a study, basically, right? So that's basically everything from reference. Along with this, with other stuff with references, a little bit different when you're not an artist or designer and stuff like that. You getting references, you can use it from ideas and stuff like that. But from life, you observe, and you sit there, observe, be silent, and don't say nothing, and just let it be. Let it be. Okay. Integration, observation fuels imagination. It brings it all together. Observes, training, awareness. Awareness feeds imagination. Imagination produce originality. Okay, that's what it does. It can do that. You using your imagination, you can bring copy, transform, and combine, and bringing something unique to yourself and your own taste and your own flavor. Okay, the more you observe, the less you force creativity. Okay, sometimes you don't have to be creative. You can just start observing. You can start doing something. It can build your creativity later on when you build that habit of doing that. Okay, creativity becomes intuitive, grounded, and confidence. Okay, so here I'm going to give you guys today the end with this participation shift. Slow down, watch more, judge less. Creativity begins with attention. So Tom says you gotta sit back, shut up, observe, don't say nothing, just sit there and watch and see what people doing. Sometimes you gotta watch and observe what's going on, see what's going on. I can't think what my dad used to tell me, because you just sit back and observe and you just observing. I think it's something what Bruce Lee says something about that too. You just observing, you ain't really saying nothing. You just watching, you observing, and you looking, and it can actually help you build wisdom, help you build creativity, imagination, and build your innovation, because you can get ideas, you can help you solve problems, and that problem that you're trying to solve when you're observing something can actually help you solve a solution. Okay, so before try to use imagination, observe better. let's go ahead and recap today's topic. We're talking about today is how observation, how observation builds creativity and imagination. Basically, you observing. Okay, so creativity doesn't come from imagination alone; it comes from what you notice. Some of the times you observing. Okay, not always, but it can actually help you when you actually studying the laws or actual reality. Like Isaac Newton, right? He came up with the law of gravity. If in the according to the book, Outwin the Devil, when Napoleon Hill, quote unquote, interviews the devil, the devil basically stated, according to Napoleon Hill's book, Outwin the Devil, Isaac Newton went to go further into a law, he would have came up with the law of hypnotic rhythm. We talked about hypnotic rhythm in plenty of these episodes. And later on, when I start getting everything together, we're going to start lining these up episodes and being a lot better on this. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. So most people look but do not observe. Artists, builders, and thinkers study reality. It's also scientists as well, or many other people that comes up and look and solve solutions or see a pattern or see something that they notice in life to actually solve a problem and make something happen. Okay, what you fail to observe, you cannot create. You cannot create from. Okay, point number one: observation shows you how the real world works. Ground creativity and reality. Reality is raw material moving forward, behavior and patterns and systems. We always business as systems, human nature as well. Environment, cause, the law, basically the law, cause and effect. You reap what you sow. Whatever the cause of it will be the effect of it later on. Okay, I talked about it a lot right there. But key insight: the most believable imagination is built on real world truths. Observation teaches how people react, how system functions, and how consequences are formed, which is the law of cause and effect, or you reap what you sow. That's one of the divine laws. I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, but anyways, point number two: observation is a study, correct and misunderstanding. Study isn't just books. Studying is watching, not just books, is watching people, what they do and how they do things. You're observing, you're learning from people and how their actions and what they're doing, the environment around you, okay, interactions and patterns over time. Okay, observation is research without permission. Just as like an artist, you don't need to. You can do research without permission. Artists, storytellers, and inventors study pausers, study silence, study timing, and study contrast. Okay, and they study from life, just like when you drawing, going through a drawing class, right? My going through life drawing used to say draw from life, draw from life, draw from reference. I got that all the time. Okay, so point number three as well. Point number three, which is everything is a reference. If you're an artist, this is creativity unlocked. Nothing creates in a vacuum, because when it's a vacuum, something else is gonna fill that vacuum, empty space. Okay, something is going to fill it. I forgot what it is right now. I can't think of it because I'm freaking tired. But anyways, references sharpen imagination. References don't limit originality. It strengthens it. It can actually strengthen it because you've done it over. You built the habit doing it over and over again. Muscle memory. You did it so many times that it becomes naturally to you, and that's why it can actually build. And you can use references and actually, you can use your imagination to help you build references and also your muscle memory. Key point right here: references is not copy. References is understanding. Use a reference and improve accuracy, deepen believability, and expand creative range. Integration, observation fuels imagination, brings it together. Observation trains awareness. Awareness feeds imagination. Imagination reduces originality. The more you observe, the less you focus, less you force creativity. Not focus, but the less you force creativity. More you observe, because you observe, using what you observing. And you don't have to force your creativity. Sometimes it comes naturally. Okay, so creativity becomes intuitive, grounded, and full of confidence. And again, okay, in the end of this, slow down. Sometimes you need to slow down, watch more, be quiet, don't say nothing, judge less, just sit back and observe and learn and take it all in. It's basically studying, right? It's basically study. Creativity begins with attention, okay? Or before you try to imagine more, observe better. Okay, so go ahead, hit that notification bell, and make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast every single day. If you're anywhere else, leave your man's a 5-star rating and review. Po, folks, is not where we at to where we come from. Always create like a God. You're the master of your fate. You're the captain of your soul. You are made in the image of God. God gave you your brain to think for yourself. Worship the one true creator, which is, I believe, is Allah. And always create like a God. Talk to you guys tomorrow.